Good morning, gamers. Welcome back. I am the AMDM Lee. This is my cup of coffee, and you're watching Perception Check. So I was kind of racking my brain about what to talk about today. What I wanted to bring forefront. I'm looking around and going, okay, what can I talk about this? I can talk about that. And then I remembered something that is really, really cool. At least I find it cool. It's a set of books. I only have 2 out of the 3 books that were printed. The books themselves were printed up by, the original copies were printed up by Central Casting. Back in at least, let me see, this one was trademarked in 1988, which is probably older than most of you. I don't know. I'm older than that. I had a copy of it way back when, and then I found another copy about 10-15 years ago. And these books are the Central Casting Heroes of Legend. There was 3 books in the series. There was the Heroes of Legend, Heroes of Tomorrow, and then Heroes of Today. Now, what these books did, I do not have Heroes of Today. It is very difficult to find, and they're not cheap if you can find them. You can find PDFs of them, which are really cool. This was some store copy. You can see that it was marked up on creating. If you ever want to create a unique background to your character, and I've talked about these books before in one of the other shows. I think one of the 30-day RPG things that I was doing. These you can get some really far out explanations. It breaks it down like Heroes of Legend. I like to use this to create like really intricate backstories, but not too terribly intricate. There are, you start off with your race, and then you start from there. You just start with your culture. So you go through and you determine what kind of culture it is, whether primitive and nomadic, barbarian, decadent. Then your social status within that culture. Then your birth legitimacy, whether it was an illegitimate birth or a legitimate birth. What kind of family setup you have, grandparents, mother, father, a whole family, aunts, uncles, extended family, whether you have any siblings, what your birth order was, what time of birth, as in time of year, where you were born at, examples in a family home, in a hospital, in a carriage while traveling, in a foreign land, in a cave, middle of a forest, or could be in a brothel, an alley, a thieves' den, sewers, a temple of an evil deity, a prison cell, and then different things that would happen during your birth. Whether you were born with a blessing, whether you were a fraternal twin, different afflictions, and all that, and it just gets more and more. And then you go into what your parents did for occupation. Things that happened during your childhood, where you gain a friend. Well, every time you gain a friend or do any of that, you go to those tables and roll on those tables. So you gain all kinds of different things, and you do this all the way up from childhood and adolescence up to early adulthood. So you roll a couple of times in the early adulthood. Basically brings it's all the stuff that your character has done before present day. And like I said, this one's Heroes of Legend. So most of the ones in this deal with fantasy RPG style settings. Whereas the Heroes of Tomorrow deal with more sci-fi, superhero style stuff. And then the Heroes of Today was superheroes and spies and stuff like that. The game books, these books, some of the rule settings are you just can't use. They're not properly set up for modern storytelling. Some of the stuff, it's outdated. It's 80s. Some of it's outdated 80s stuff. But it helps you pick your alignments. And like I said, when I say some of it is dated stuff, like homosexuality listed in here is a negative trait. It's a sexism is there's certain things in here that I'm like, no, that's wrong. It's an extremely dated. There are parts of it that are extremely dated, but as a whole, now like I said, these books are out of print. I haven't seen anything like them come out recently, and I would love for somebody out there to reboot this series and update it and bring it into the modern sensibilities and such. But they're amazing books. They're a lot of fun. You get some weird. Think of every just outlandish superhero origin story. You know, trained at the circus, orphaned and then kidnapped by aliens, and then taught magic by a mystic shaman who was also kidnapped by aliens, and then there was the dying sun, and you got shipped back to Earth. I'm talking like just convoluted. It wasn't just a mystic shaman from Earth. He was a mystic shaman robot from Earth, and that all happened by the age of 4. You know, there's a lot of weird stuff that can happen in these books, and they're really cool. So if you can find them, they can make for very interesting character backgrounds. One of my favorite characters that I played, Professor Nikolai T. Whipplebottom, was created using those books. You create that character, and then you throw in the class that person would be. Build the character, then add the class. It can be a lot of fun. Find a good character builder. But that's my spotlight check. If you can find these books by Central Casting, they're not cheap now. I'm telling you that for sure. But the Heroes of Legend is a lot of fun to create a character. It is a blast. That's all I got for now, guys. If you like these videos, please click on the like button. If you think someone else would like them, please click on the share button. Every like is an inspiration, every share is an advantage, and every subscription is an experience point. Help me reach 300 experience points so I can get to second level. And as always, every video that you share, I, the AMDM, do hereby authorize you to have 10 experience points. That is all I have for now. So you go forth and roll some dice.